Please join me on the Glenn Lal Show, 99.1, 99.5 FM, Kaieteur Radio, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 7:20 p.m., and a rebroadcast of the next day at 11 a.m., just in case you miss that program.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's newscast, right here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. Controversial Chinese construction company, China Railway Group Limited, which was blacklisted by the World Bank in September of 2019 for allegedly breaching procurement guidelines, is one of 4 companies that submitted proposals for the 165 megawatt Amila Falls hydropower project. The procuring entity is the Office of the Prime Minister, who holds responsibility for the energy portfolio. Construction of the Amila Falls project is expected to commence next year, after being stalled for years from when it was first proposed. The project was not able to commence back then due to issues of feasibility and a lack of transparency. Specifically, the project was stalled in 2013 after the opposition-controlled National Assembly refused to pass key environmental legislation required for the Inter-American Development Bank to approve part of the required financing. In other news, with the 26th United Nations Climate Change Conference of Parties, commonly referred to as COP26, 1 month away, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres recently urged leaders to recognize that the world is in the middle of a climate emergency. As such, urgent action is needed to protect humanity. The official made this plea at the final official ministerial meeting that was held in Milan, Italy, yesterday. While it is essential for leaders to fulfill the promise of the Paris Agreement to lower global temperature to 1.5 degrees Celsius, Guterres said this will require more than just a spoken word. On mitigation, Guterres said current nationally determined contributions will lead to a catastrophic 2.7 degrees Celsius global rise. Guterres said he commends those nations, especially vulnerable developing countries, that have come forward with ambitious nationally determined contributions despite the ongoing COVID-19 crisis. In other news, for the last decade, energy strategist and local content expert Anthony Paul has observed that Trinidad and Tobago's oil and gas sector has been nothing but a slow train wreck. In a recent virtual discussion with his fellow Trinidadians on the depressing state of the economy that has left people under pressure, Paul said in no uncertain terms that the country's gas sector has been doing dramatically badly for a long time. Paul said he would attribute the industry's declining health to a lack of adherence to the principles of transparency and accountability, 2 key elements of any robust governance network. And now let's tell you, as a result of implementing a series of rigid measures, GRA witnessed an astronomical increase in tax collection during a period of 4 years, specifically between 2016 and 2019. According to one of the agency's key reports, it was noted that direct and indirect annual revenue figures increased from $2 billion in 2016 to $5.5 billion in 2019, representing an increase of 166%. With reference to the increase in revenue for alcohol and tobacco, the tax agency noted that it implemented stern measures that were designed to reduce the illicit trade of these products in Guyana. In other news, an alleged weed hustler who tried to escape police officers on Wednesday by plunging into the Demerara River was eventually nabbed while hiding in some bushes close to the river bank. The man, identified as 29-year-old resident of Anna Catherina, West Coast Demerara, had jumped into the river around 7 hours 30. According to a police report, patrol ranks traveling in a pickup had spotted the man walking along the Craig Public Road on the east bank of Demerara, carrying a black haversack. When he saw the ranks, the man reportedly began acting in a suspicious manner, which caught the ranks' attention. As a result, they drove up to him and stopped, but before they could utter a word, the man started to run. He reportedly ran towards the Demerara River and plunged in. The The man was arrested and taken to the Golden Grove police station where he remains in custody. And now let's tell you a businessman and a pensioner who reportedly drowned on Wednesday after an aluminum boat powered by a 15 horsepower outboard engine capsized in the rapids of the Kwarawak Falls located in the Essequibo River in the vicinity of Chinese Landing, Region 8. The boat mishap took place around 1 hour 30 and some 22 miles downstream the river from the Curapakari crossing. The dead were identified as 68-year-old Roach Leo and a 53-year-old Dharmendra Dean. It is understood that the boat was at the time transporting goods and passengers to a location where the Essequibo River, along the Essequibo River when the tragedy struck. According to sources, a wave had knocked the boat over after its engine reportedly sucked air. They reportedly claimed that the captain was steering the vessel through the rapids up the falls when the motor accidentally tilted up. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up at 19 hours 20 is The Glenn Lal Show. Tell it as it is.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
I am Glenn Lal, and I have some beautiful things to share with you guys. Fellow Guyanese, Namaste.